So, are we going to start off at the bottom, or you want to get right into this?
Yeah. Let's just do that. Build up.
Okay. Let's foreplay this shit.
Up.
Where's the foreplay?
Plus, there's not much to talk about, so we're gonna skim through it pretty quick.
Yeah. Let's see here. Right off the bottom, we got Chris Gutierrez versus Vince Morales. You didn't watch this? I would highly recommend watching it, dude. Probably one of the best displays of leg kicks. Period. Calf kicks specifically, dude. The guy's leg was murked.
All right, I'll watch that.
Murked. It's like it's not even. You could see that it's Gutierrez's game plan if you watch his past fights. But this was the first fight where he implemented it to a T, and his opponent did fucking nothing about it. It's like he didn't even watch tape on this guy. Like, oh no, I don't gotta worry about those leg kicks. I'm gonna walk through them and throw punches.
Okay.
Nope. Got fucked up. Casey Kenny versus Smolka. Love me some Kenny.
I've always liked Smolka. I didn't watch this fight again. I tuned in a little later. Mm-hmm. But when I saw the result, it was one of those like, Luis.
Kenny's good though, dude. You can't underrate this guy. Former LFA champ, win over Ray Borg.
Kenny is good, but it just Smolka. He's one of those guys where his record doesn't tell you how good he is. Like he's good, man. But he just keeps getting caught in all these damn submissions.
He looks so much better when he fights guys that aren't at his level. And his level is roughly average. Like Ryan McDonald, his last fight, the guy that he knocked out, that kid should not have been in the UFC. That kid was like super green, was fighting tomato cans on the Midwest regional scene. Horrible kid. And Louis Smolka went out there and fucking boxed his face off. When has Louis Smolka been good at boxing?
Yeah, he's not that much. He's been more of a grappling.
And it seemed like he let that get to his head here in this fight against Kenny because he was standing up with him quite a lot. And then Kenny fucking landed a great shot and then finished it with the guillotine. Poor Smolka, man. Like
he's not going to get better at this point.
That was his last week. Sorry, guys, I lost this fight, but I'm working on getting better. Like you've gone and come from the UFC twice now. You know what I mean? You're probably gonna. Well, you probably won't get cut after this.
He's leveled out. It is what it is.
Yeah, he's not. He's never gonna get better. Brandon Royval versus Tim Elliott. Big win for Royval, former LFA champ.
This was kind of in the background, so I kind of heard it, and then I tuned in when they were showing the replay of the arm triangle. So Tim
Poor
Elliott.
Royval. You didn't see the post-fight interview with Cormier?
Yes, that was the guy who was so dejected. Cormier's all like cheery, and this guy's like, man,
you just
I don't
won
know,
your
man.
UFC debut.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, but listen, bro, I gotta go to work tomorrow. Still, I didn't get paid. Who gives a shit? And you could see it in his face. He's like, I don't give a fuck about any of this. Give me the money so I don't have to go to work. Yeah. And Cormier's trying to make it like a big deal. It's like his life's not changing.
Yeah.
So is it really that? You know what I mean?
Well, Dana said that he would probably give them the fight of the night. So $50K has got to be nice, right? Maybe he could quit his job. Good. Apparently, he works at a juvenile detention center.
Okay,
so that's what his job is.
He was almost in like tears. With the fact that he didn't get enough to didn't perform well enough to get any sort of bonus. Like, that's all he cared about. He didn't care. It
was fight of the night. Dude, it was up there for fight of the night.
For me, I'm like, this is how Cormier is probably looking at it. Tim Elliott is a name in the flyweight division. Yeah. This is your debut fight. You put him out. It's a good win. Like, take it. It's your first UFC win.
You gotta kind of like guys like that though. Like that are just so like unless I get a perfect performance, I'm not happy.
You don't
with
want
myself.
people who are so. Do you know what pisses me off personally? I hate when fighters barely squeeze out a win and they're celebrating like it's like the greatest accomplishment ever.
The one that comes to my mind is Jessica Ai when she won a split decision over somebody and she like jumps on the cage and just fucking go, yeah. I'm like, did you even deserve that decision to begin with?
Or like you're getting your ass whooped and you land a knockout and you're all like, yes, I fucking did it. Yeah. It's like, dude, if that happens, I like the fighters who like they're getting their ass whooped, they land like the punch and then they don't even celebrate because they know like that was a bad performance. I got lucky. It is what it is. Like that's the way you should react if you're a top level fighter. I get really annoyed with those guys who are just like, yeah,
dude, it reminds me of
I'm just tough.
like in my prime days of watching the NBA. Remember Gilbert Arenas? Do you remember that name?
Gilbert Arenas.
Dude, there's this one season where he hit like 4 or 5 buzzer beaters, and like he would always once he hits them, he's always just like just another day at the office. Like just walks off. Like I knew that was gonna happen. Let's just get back to the next game. I fucking love that fucking
mentality.
That's
why people like Mark Hunt's walk away KOs. Like you don't just go all.
You expect it to happen, so why the fuck am I celebrating?
Yeah.
Jamal Hill versus Klidson Abreu. I thought Abreu was a live dog here. Jamal Hill, still in my opinion, really green, but has a good power. Like that knee that he landed on Abreu was beautiful. Like
Abreu was also not the best on the feet, but it was fun. Mm-hmm. It was good. Good performance.
Good performance from Hill.
With the body kick, right?
Yeah, it was a knee to the body.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, dropped him and then followed up with some punches. Not bad from him. Daniel Rodriguez versus Gabriel Green. Green took the fight on Tuesday because Kevin Holland pulled out. Decent performance from Rodriguez. Pretty much boxed his face off for 3 rounds.
Consistent for 3 rounds.
Joe Schilling product. So Schilling was in his corner too. I'm not sure if you noticed.
Good follow-up win after taking out Means. So
yeah.
Something to keep him going.
Exactly.
Get more experience.
Katlyn Chookagian versus fucking Anthony Shevchenko. That was a sweat for people that like just normally just parlay like over 2.5 in women's fights, because there are a chunk of people that fucking do that. They just like, oh, it's minus 450. It's gonna go over fucking 2.5. This one was close, man. She was close to finishing Shevchenko. And statistically, I'll put this out there before I get your input on this. She was 0 for 17 on takedowns going into this fight. Like, that was the statistic that was out on there. Even on her UFC stats page, takedown average 0%.
Okay, because going into this fight, I thought it's probably just going to be a stand-up fight because that's what Chookagian does. So that'll give Shevchenko a chance because she's a kickboxer. And then the fight starts and she just grapples with her and she has so much success with it. I'm like, man, I thought Antonia's grappling would be a little more far along with this. Like, we saw what Valentina did to Caitlin.
Yeah.
So when Antonina and Valentina are training grappling together, what the fuck are we watching?
Well,
like,
here's another thing
Valentina
though. Valentina apparently has been injured. So she wasn't able to.
But that's a giant gap in grappling. Like, to be 35 years old and be out grappled like that by a stand-up fighter, you're not going anywhere.
That's the thing though. Katlyn she's like an undercover. I think she's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, she's legit. She trains with John Danaher. She trains with Renzo Gracie and those guys. But she's just always so in love with the striking.
She looked like a white belt to Valentina though.
Of course, yeah. Valentina's next level though. Valentina's next level.
Another level, yeah.
But Katlyn just took a page out of Modafferi's book and was like, you know what? Let me just take this bitch down.
But even Modafferi kind of just held her and controlled her well.
And Antonina got up numerous times in that fight too. She was able to actually get out of those positions.
She could not get out of here. She got mauled, like beat up.
This is something that Katlyn should start taking into her other fights. Start like, okay, look, I can be a ground fighter as well too. Let me mix up my striking enough. I'm good enough on the feet that I can mix it up, and I'm just going to shoot for a fucking double leg, and I'll get you down.
Yeah,
like,
it was a good rebound win, and you did it over the girl's elder sister. It's fucking, so like she mauls you on the ground, and you go and maul her sister on the ground.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Payback-ish. And again, I think you told me, it's like, how can she even get revenge? She already murked her.
This is her revenge. It's like the backward story.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this should have set up the Valentina fight.
Now take this into consideration. If Katlyn goes out there and starts murking bitches racks up 2 or 3 straight wins, dominantly like this, 30-25. 30-25 times 3 she got on this. Now, if she goes out and does the same thing to another 2 or 3 girls, she can see herself right back there in there against fucking Shevchenko. Nobody wants to see it, but the only way people would want to see it is if Katlyn actually goes out there and dominates opponents, not just squeaks out decisions like she's normally been doing.
Yeah.
Right? That's the issue. That's everybody's issue with Katlyn, is that she seemed to have been too comfortable striking and thinking her output was going to be enough.
That's the big problem with the women's division in general. You have too many
the majority of
fighters and laying back.
Yeah.
And, like, now it's starting to get to that. Remember when women's MMA first started? It was so much clearly below men's MMA in terms of the skill that you'd see. Yeah, like the way they would.
They're just behind. They're several years behind.
Grappling was so fun to watch.
Of
when women grapple, it's just amazing to watch.
Flexibility.
So flexible. Yeah. So the transitions is really good, but you could tell, like, even like there was no pop to their punches a lot of times. You know, the technique. Now though, it's like another level with like the top of the division. So these girls have to catch up, and it feels like we're in that transition now where they're just starting to catch up to the top.
25 is still a little bit of a wasteland just due to Valentina's dominance.
115 is
115
fun.
looks fun.
That's fun.
That's very, very fun.
Good talent, man.
Speaking of 115, that was the first fight on the main card, Mackenzie Dern versus Hannah Cifers.
Okay, so right off the bat, I still think Dern looked like complete shit, and she got lucky that Cifers is even shittier. Like, Cifers did not look that good. Like, what the whole finish sequence, what was Cifers doing?
Yeah.
She was just standing there. She wasn't even trying to roll. She just let it happen pretty much. And against a girl, not to mention, there was a moment where Dern tried to take her down and then it failed, so she was on her back. She could have just walked backwards. And she stood there and let Dern lock her leg up. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's a fight IQ issue there. Like, I don't think she's the worst fighter out there, but she has good stand up. She has some power for a little bit of a tank.
Yeah.
She has some power. She has some good leg kicks. But that fight IQ, man, like, you gotta know you don't want to be clinching up with her.
Even the first
and
round,
even when she was clinching up with her, she was landing great knees. She was doing good on the feet. But like, break away.
But she's one of those like brawling types. Like, okay, you gotta think about stuff more. Okay, you're getting in her face and clinching well and throwing good knees. To me, that is more of a Dern issue. Like, you're getting clinched up. Like, isn't like this shouldn't you be better here?
Like, she getting fights. She's not the best like wrestler takedown artist either, right?
Her down in the second. In fact, she didn't take her down. She just got lucky. Cyphers didn't walk away. Otherwise, if Cyphers just moved back and the whole fight was 3 rounds of clinching, Cyphers was going to win that decision. She got lucky.
I would love to know what the fuck was going through her brain.
Yeah.
Was she thinking that she was going to ground and pound her there and finish her there?
Well,
of course
you see Angela Hill, what she did to Cyphers on the ground, so you think Dern's going to get her down and maul her. She couldn't even get this girl down.
I think the difference in the Hill fight was the fact that I think that Cyphers was expecting mainly a stand-up fight.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And then like when Hill got her in that tie clinch, that's how she got her down. She like tripped her through the tie clinch. I don't think she was expecting that, but here... She's expecting Dern to take her down, but she still fucking follows her to the ground.
Yeah,
that was
Dern's got to get better though. Like,
yeah,
fine, you got the win with the submission, which is what you're supposed to be doing, really. But man, you got to improve better, like a lot more than that. Just to be losing. I mean, when it was at distance, Dern actually was good. Like, she was the better boxer. She was landing the better strikes.
To a certain extent,
she had punches, but you're letting the girl.
Yeah.
Crowd you, get clinched up, then getting hit a lot. I don't know.
This was essentially this was a 125er against a 105er. Like, okay. Dern's should be a 125er. Like, she's still cutting down. She made 115. Good for her. But yeah, she's a big girl. And Cyphers, again, she needs that 105-pound division like Michelle Watterson needs it. Like Brianna Van Buren. There's a lot of smaller women at the 115-pound. Even Angela Hill, she could probably make 105 if she wanted to.
Yeah, she was talking about. But
Scrap 145. Give us 105.
Agreed.
There's no fucking talent at 145.
100%. This fight to me was more like nobody won.
Yeah, exactly. Neither stock went up or anything.
Bad, yeah.
Roberts versus Weber. I didn't get to see this fight in completion. I just saw the finish. I don't get why people.
I was in and out watching, but it looked like Roberts was just handling.
His hands looked really good.
Yeah.
Brock Weaver is just a guy that like his persona and his personality sell him more than his actual fighting style. Like when you see the guy, you're like, okay, this guy's like a Vanderlei Silva type looking motherfucker. Like wants to go out there and box your face. He just wants to grapple fuck you. That's all he does. But even when he's not successul in that, he's not the greatest at that.
Yeah, he got choked out by Roberts.
The first time I actually saw that guy he was in the corner of Jason Knight at a bare knuckle boxing fight. Who the fuck is this guy? And then he just ends up being an MMA fighter. I'm like, all right, cool. But Roberts, good win for him. He had that loss to Vince Pichel 2 fights ago. That was his first loss, and now he's finally getting back into his groove. I'm looking forward to what he has. I think he has a ton of potential that he could actually make some waves in that division. Quarantillo versus Carlisle, we did a deciding splits for this because obviously a lot of people were on opposite sides of this fight. We ended up picking Carlisle to win.
Yeah.
Like we thought he won the fight. If you guys want to know exactly why, just make sure you check out the deciding splits episode. You didn't even know these guys going into this fucking fight, so I'm not sure you have anything to really say about it. I like Billy Quarantillo. I think he's a great fighter. I think he got lucky with the decision here. But yeah, I love his fighting style. I can't wait to see what he has next when he gets back into the cage. And Spike Carlisle, wacky motherfucker. That's obviously what Tony could find out strictly off of watching 2 rounds of this guy. So I'm sure he'll be back as well too. And I think they got the fight of the night along with Royval and Elliott. So that's something to boast about. Sakai and Ivanov split decision. We had a 30-27 going the opposite way, and then 229-28 for Augusto Sakai. This is kind of the fight that I expected to happen, which was going to be super close. Blagoy Ivanov has a ridiculous chin to be able to eat shots from Derek Lewis like the way that he did, and to still keep trucking forward. Insane.
He had a lot of clean strikes here too.
Yeah, Augusto Sakai moves a little bit better, so I thought he was going to be able to stay out of the big shots of Ivanov and kind of cruise to a victory here.
This was another one where like nobody really won.
No.
Both of you just look like middle tier heavyweights who, if you got matched up with any top 10, I would favor the other guy. Like that's what they look like to me.
Augusto Sakai is just that guy though. Like he just always goes to decisions. He's kind of like an Andrei Arlovsky now.
Yeah, it is weird too because he seemed like the whole like Ivanov looked like he was like struggling to keep up with the pace and Sakai just looked like if he turned it up a bit, he could have just he could have mauled him, but he like lets himself get crowded and punched. It seemed like from a skill point he could have won at any time, but he's letting it be closer than it needed to be.
I just want to see who he KO'd. Oh yeah, he KO'd Tybura last time around.
Yeah, who cares?
Oh, fuck that guy.
And I did see on MMA Decisions apparently his win over Arlovsky was a complete robbery. Like MMA decisions.
I remember watching that fight. I wouldn't
MMA
say it was a
decisions
complete
crowd
robbery.
scoring had all 3 rounds for Arlovsky.
Interesting.
And then the comments were just like, that is a blatant robbery. Everyone scored it for Arlovsky, like the media. So apparently that was like a robbery. So
I don't think it was a huge robbery. I remember watching it recently, but he didn't do that bad. And then main event.
Yeah, the main event.
I am like, I wish
I've been saying it now. Finally, I get it. Woodley's done with.
I'm gonna pull up my Twitter feed real quick because during this right after that first round, I just tore into Woodley. I'm so glad that he's finally being exposed for the guy that he was. Where is it? That's got to be a 10-8. So first round, easy 10-8. Zero offense from Woodley at all.
Easy 10-8.
And then I'm like, of course, Woodley could find that atomic bomb still, but he's getting exposed here.
Here's the funny part, okay? He's coming in, I want my belt back, this and that. And I'm like, okay, but...
He's motivated, Tony.
Yeah, he's motivated.
Tony, he's motivated, though.
Then he comes in. Before the fight starts, you know when they're doing the fighter introductions? I don't know if you booked this, but Woodley's face looked like a guy who was unsure and trying to pump himself up. That's what I got right before the fight started. I'm like, he's fucked. He's trying to get himself. He doesn't look like he's like in beast mode trying to kill. He's like looking, like, looked around, and then he has this face of like doubt. I was like, this is not going to go well for him. And then sure enough,
right off the bat,
it's a typical Tyron Woodley performance. I'm just going to stand still with my back against the cage and do jack shit. Like, if you're a fan of this, how the fuck can you be a fan of this guy? He's the most frustrating fighter to watch.
Not even
he
just
do anything.
fan, but the fact that people were actually betting him is what, like,
the fact that I was so pissed
ridiculous.
I didn't put more money, because like the whole time I'm like, okay, stylistically I get that Gilbert might actually lose this. Then I'm looking at the records. I'm like, Tyron Woodley hasn't looked that impressive since Darren Till, and even the Darren Till fight was literally just like
Till threw
one
nothing
moment.
in the first round.
It was literally
Till threw
just
nothing,
and neither did Woodley. The only thing was just Till decided to charge in, which is what the only thing you don't do to Tyron, and he clipped him with the right, which we all know he can do.
Lead uppercut going into Tyron Woodley, and Woodley just comes over with right hand and drops
exactly it. Like, so even that, and I'm like, that was 2 years ago. He's 38. He's probably like, I don't see why he should even be the favorite. That's what I was thinking going into the like closer to the fight. And then after I'm watching, I'm like, I should have put more money on Gilbert.
My only concern for Gilbert in this fight was what his cardio was going to look like, because he would needed to have better cardio than Woodley to keep up the pace, keep up the pressure, and keep up the output, which we know that Woodley has none of.
None of ever. And I texted you in the morning after I watched the fight. The post-fight interview with Gilbert, when Cormier is interviewing him, he wasn't even breathing hard.
Yeah.
Like, he sounded like he had just done a 2-minute warm-up on a heavy bag before he was about to go into the fight. Just a little bit of... But otherwise, just talking clearly. And even he's like, look, I'm fine. Do you see what I just did to him? I could go do another 5 rounds. I'm like, this guy's talking like me after like... 5 minutes of jogging or something. It's like, what the fuck? This amazing cardio. Great
More things that I wrote. Burns is down to stay in the pocket. Makes me worried. Got to still respect the power of Woodley. Gilbert landing that beautiful takedown in the second round. Remember that? That fucking like surprised everybody.
That surprised Woodley too, because Woodley's got really good takedown defense. So it's like, whoa, how did that happen?
Perfectly timed.
But then if you notice, in the third or fourth round, he did the exact same takedown attempt, and Woodley stuffed it.
Yeah,
completely.
Woodley stuffed him at that point.
Okay, it was just he was not expecting it, because Woodley's takedown defense, for as much as we shit on him, his takedown defense is
of course
phenomenal.
He's a great wrestler.
Phenomenal.
But again, obviously, I don't think anybody was really expecting Gilbert to shoot a double leg like that and actually try to get this fight to the ground.
Incredible.
I thought if this fight was going to hit the ground, it was going to be Woodley trying to go for the takedown for out of desperation kind of thing, right?
Even like the first round that Woodley gets clipped, he gets rushed. Okay, he survives. Good for him. Like, got to give him some credit for surviving at least. But then it's like, all right, now we're in round 5. What the fuck is going on where you're down 4 rounds?
I have a perfect one.
Hold on. Let's get this straight. When you're watching the fight, right? And I tell you, one of the guys is down 4 rounds. It almost looks like Gilbert's down 4 rounds, because he's the one with the urgency trying to fucking pressure and do so. Woodley just, again, standing with his back. Then he clinches. Oh, I'll know what I'll do to come back. I'll clinch and stand still against the fucking cage and do nothing. What the hell is this guy thinking?
Dude, his coach...
People hate you already. You're 38, 2 losses now. The UFC doesn't like you. This is it. 5 minutes. that is it. This is your fighting career is pretty much done if you don't do something.
Yeah.
He does absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
One of his coaches before round 5, got to go with your combinations. I'm like, I'm sorry, but do you know Tyron? Spam those
When does he
overhands.
throw the combo?
Best advice you can give him because that's the only thing he'll throw. And then I had to put this one up here. Woodley's back to the cage.
Yeah. It's on, and dude, even when like he circles out, he doesn't even back up because Gilbert walks him down. He literally just starts to back up, and then Gilbert's following him. I'm like, what the fuck are you? How do you do the same bullshit every fight? I don't get it. And you get away with this shit.
I'm like, hey Woodley, are you there? Or are you still backstage like the Kamaru fight?
Seriously,
bro. Like,
did you hear him after though?
Who,
after he's like, this time I have no excuse. Like the Usman fight, like I wasn't there, but this time I was there. I don't know what. But he's like, this is how you know this guy needs to go on some vision quest and go away. He said something about how like he's got some weird peace with it because he's like, well, at least like he's like with the Usman fight, I felt like I wasn't there, but this one it didn't feel that way, so I can kind of accept the loss a little better. And then one thing that really was like, oh, you shouldn't have spoken, you shouldn't have said that. In the first round where he's trying to survive, he's like, man, I just knew I wasn't gonna give up, you know, with everything going on in the world and like the George Floyd stuff, like I wasn't about to give up. I'm like, what the fuck does that have anything to do with you surviving a flurry in the first round? Shut the fuck up, dude.
Dude, even
go make shitty rap.
He tweeted something about it. Somebody like said you should go retire, and then he's like, where did he say it? No, it's not going to be up. Some black dude, a journalist or something, tweeted at him, you should go retire. And then he goes, what do you mean retire? A black man saying that to a black man? Like, why does it always have to come back to race?
This is why everyone hated
right
him.
here. Really, from a black man with all this hatred going on from another black man?
What does that have to do with
Hashtag
anything?
sad. What exactly? What
Dude,
is it? Why
if
do you have
were
to bring
fucking purple
This is why
skin-
people don't like him. This is why people don't like him.
Because it's always like a victim mentality. You're
Yeah.
crying, oh, the world's always against me.
Yeah.
No one's fucking, because you're just annoying. You're an irritating man. Like, you're not likable. I've always said this about Woodley. This is how he comes off to me. Because even when he was on his rise and he's just doing all this preachy shit for no reason, like, just fight, dude. Shut up. He's a guy who's, let's say on an intelligence scale, he's probably about an 8 out of 10. He's a smart guy. He thinks he's a fucking 10. That's the problem with Woodley. He's a smart guy who thinks he's smarter than he is.
Yeah.
That's really the problem with him.
I'm just happy that he kind of got exposed. I feel bad for Leon Edwards because he would have been the one doing this.
Dude, I was watching the first round and I'm like, Leon Edwards is probably like, oh God.
I would have been the one to expose him.
I could have fought number 1 and had the easiest fight of my fucking life. And now Gilbert just took it.
Absolutely. I was upset because I wanted to bet on Leon Edwards, but I'm even happier here that I got underdog money on Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, didn't put too much money on it.
I was going to go heavier on Edwards, but you know, I didn't go as heavy on Burns, but still.
I do hope Edwards doesn't get screwed here. Like, I think they should do Burns and Edwards.
Yeah.
Because Burns, do you really get a title shot off of? I know Woodley was technically 1, but get the fuck out of my face. That was not the number 1 welterweight that he just beat. That was like number 20 or something.
I think that
like shit.
The best way to go forward, I think, would be
Edwards got fucked over so hard.
Yeah,
the guy who took his fight, he should get that fight, man. He's on a better win streak anyway. Still,
yeah. You could do Burns Edwards, and honestly, people might not be a fan of this, but I wouldn't mind Woodley Covington too, or not Woodley Covington, Kamaru Covington too. That was a close fight, even though he got finished in the 5th. I wouldn't mind that.
You know what's funny? I'd actually like Woodley Covington just to see Covington.
I would like to see that too, but I don't think we'll see Woodley for a little bit now. I think he's going to get demoralized from this again.
I think he's retired.
Could be.
You're 38 years old, and you literally stood still and did nothing for your last 2 title fights. Your only aspiration seems to be being the champion and being considered the best in the world. The fuck?
Yeah.
People want you gone too. Your organization doesn't like you. The fans don't like you. Your resume sucks now. How are you going to get back to the top? By the time he gets back to the top, he'd be like 41, 42, and he's only regressing. He's only getting worse.
I think this might be it for him.
Done.
I'm completely okay with that.
Who the fuck isn't, man?
I know.
We're done. Everyone's done with Tyron Woodley.
But please stop betting on Tyron fucking Woodley if he's going to fight again.
Yeah,
you guys know what he's about. He even went to Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand to try to train his Muay Thai after he lost to Kamaru. Didn't show anything.
He didn't do anything. He looked the same.
He threw like all of his punches again. It's like a blitz forward, overhand right, or even a hook to the body, and then he'll come with an overhand right. But anytime he throws a jab, it's literally just to gauge the range. He never throws a jab to like actually follow up on another strike behind
There was
that.
one point where Gilbert's kind of walking him down, and then Woodley stops with his back against the cage and literally like, you know, when you're waiting for a strike to come, kind of does that and then literally doesn't move or anything, just eats everything and then pushes Gilbert away. And I'm like, why didn't you throw anything? What are you doing?
Think about this. If Maia had slightly above average striking, he probably would have beaten Woodley.
Just from activity.
That's what I mean.
Activity.
That's it. He was too scared of the power coming back from him. He couldn't get Woodley down. That's what you can give to Woodley. Good takedown defense, big power. Yeah. That's about it. Yeah. The Wonderboy Thompson fights, like that was intimidation strictly. That was strictly intimidation in terms of Woodley or Wonderboy not being able to get his shots.
Wonderboy was just scared to engage, and then when he did engage, he didn't get out of the way very well, out of the right.
And like, all Woodley had to do was hit him or rock him enough. 3 out of those 5 rounds, and he was going to get the decision. Yeah. If you get a guy that gets over that intimidation factor, gets over Woodley's power, they're going to win. And we clearly saw it against
like some of the tweets too. Amazing performance from Gilbert over one of the best welterweights in the world. Like, get the fuck out of my face. Don't ever. No, that is not. That looks like the best welterweight in the world. That looks like a guy who should have been fighting maybe 15 years ago, and then he might have success. Yeah. This time and age, like, what the fuck is that? Where are your skills at? Throw something. Just back against the cage, no footwork, no circling out properly, getting clinched up against the cage. Like, what the fuck? Are you just literally relying on 1 second to punch someone?
You remember when he wanted to fight GSP?
Like, fuck this guy, seriously. Then he's calling out Israel.
Shut up.
Are you out of... Can this guy get more delusional? That's why I say it, man. He's a smart guy who thinks he's a fucking genius. Yeah. That's the problem with Tyron Woodley. And if he could just accept that he's just smart and not a genius, he'd be way better off for it.
I'm glad that this is probably like
Done. Drop him fucking 8 in the rankings or whatever, and then he'll look at it and go, I'll never get back.
I didn't take my dislike for him into capping this fight in terms of like figuring out if I want to bet on Burns or not. But it obviously helped, in terms of
I actually liked Woodley.
Yeah.
Like
there was a switch. I remember we were fans of him.
Fight. I remember after the Till fight because
even before that for me,
people were talking a lot of shit about him. He was the underdog going in as the champ. Oh, he's focusing too much on music, this and that. He put Till down, gave him his first loss, and even the way after it ended, he just kind of got up like all nonchalantly. I'm like, he looks badass. Like it was a good finish in that sense. And then he goes right back to doing all the things that made you hate him, and you're like, oh, okay, fuck this. That was just like one moment.
Yeah.
Like the Usman fight doesn't show up. All these excuses, pumping himself up for this. Oh, I don't want my belt back. I just want to fucking get in there and throw it out. Really? Were you that antsy to fight? You threw 29 strikes in a 5-round fight.
Man, Edwards was gonna murk him. Like that,
That's what I was thinking to him. Like Edwards is all about consistency and output. Like he would have just chipped away at him for 5 rounds. I don't think he would have finished him. I think it would have been a clear cut 50-45 or something.
I could see him potentially finishing later in the fight.
Think so? I think Edwards.
Okay, we'll end
Woodley's durable.
We'll end the discussion of the Woodley Burns fight on this. Who had the better performance against Woodley, Kamaru or Burns? Because I'm seeing a lot of people saying that Burns put a worse weapon on him than the Kamaru. I can't remember the Kamaru fight as best as possible.
Actually, 100%. I would say Burns beat him up more. Mm-hmm. However, I don't like that comparison because after a guy suffers a bad loss like that, it fucks with him mentally. So going into their next fight, they're not really the same. Well, you know what I mean?
And Ngannou after he lost to fucking Stipe, right?
Exactly, right? Like you can't be like, oh, I beat him better than you. Well, no, you also beat him after I beat him and exposed some shit for you. So you learned from my performance, right?
So Kamaru landed 141 significant strikes on Woodley, 34 from Woodley.
Kamaru's was very grappling 83. Heavy, so he was clinching a lot more and he was going for takedowns.
7 passes for Kamaru.
In terms of damage, Gilbert outdamaged him because Gilbert kept the fight standing more and was boxing him up a lot more. Kamaru was just kind of using his striking to get in and smother him, and that was working. So,
Dude, look at the Woodley Till one, 57-0. Okay. In terms of significant strikes.
Yeah, Till didn't do anything. He just got dropped after doing nothing. But yeah, both of the losses were just big brother whooping on his little brother. Like, it was embarrassing. I mean, I want to be champ again. Your winner, 50 by unanimous decision, 50-44 across the board. It's like, oh god,
easy peasy.
This is embarrassing.
So next week,
one quick thing.
Yep.
Burns was the bigger guy. That fucking
Yeah,
blew
he
my
was
mind.
huge.
I
He was
was
big.
like when I pictured them standing beside each other, I thought Burns would be significantly smaller. He was taller and bulkier than Woodley. I was like, holy fuck, he's a big welterweight.
I think that surprised a lot of people.
And the fact that
Yeah.
he took him down and held him down,
Yeah.
even a bit, I'm like, dude, he's a legit welterweight. He's not a small lightweight who doesn't want to cut. He's a legit welterweight.
Also, a last caveat on that: Usman and fucking Burns train together too.
I know.
But Burns is down to fight him. They're like,
just
for the opportunity, I'm down.
It's just business, man. When
They're
there's
not
a-
going to make it into a beef. They're going to be like, yo, I'll
when
fight
there's
you.
a belt
That's it.
on the line, I don't think there should be any animosity or
Yeah.
any like getting offended.
Yeah.
If there's no belt on the line, I get it because there's so many other guys you could fight. Why are you calling me out? But dude, if you're the king of the hill, it is what it is.
Yeah, you're up next.
Yeah.
So next week,
although I hope they do Burns Edwards, and
I agree.
But then who else gets the title shot?
Again, there's Colby out there. They could still. I don't
really
like the
hope-
Masvidal fight. I don't like the Masvidal fight,
I
but
like it.
I wouldn't mind it.
I'd rather, because Masvidal's the only guy in the top 5 Usman hasn't beat, except, well, now Burns will be in there. But I'd rather just get that pairing done with, because Masvidal's on, his star power too. And then you have 2 legit guys who are both, like, you could give the title shot to either guy. Let them fight it out. Plus, it just makes sense.
There's too much confusion though in the
Edwards
welterweight
lost
division.
the fight. Burns took it. Now Edwards should get a chance against him. He's got the better streak. I just like that better.
There's too many like unknowns in the welterweight division now. We don't know what's going on with Colby. We don't know what's going on with Kamaru. Masvidal is kind of like the one that needs to straighten out because he's talking about fighting Nate again, which is so fucking dumb. Or he
don't
could
know
fight
who's
Woodley, or he
bullshitting.
could fight Connor. Connor is getting lumped into this shit now too. Like it makes no fucking sense.
I don't like
the
it.
welterweight division is almost like the lightweight division now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we have clarity in the lightweight division. We know Gaethje's fighting Khabib next. We don't know who Kamaru's fighting next because again, Connor's throwing himself in there. The fact that Kamaru is entertaining it, like obviously we know it's a red panty night. We know it's a big money fight,
If I'm Kamaru, I'm calling out Connor.
but still, it just throws such a wrench in the
I
fucking
know, but for a
plans.
fan, whatever. But
Yeah.
if I'm Kamaru, I'm like, that's an easy payday
Easy
for me.
fight all day. They released
dummy
odds on
dude.
that fight.
I could dummy that dude. Everybody would see me do it, and I'd make bank easy.
What do you think the odds are on that fight?
I would do it at
Kamaru.
least minus 400.
Minus 310 Kamaru.
Okay, I still think that's.
I would put
too low.
all the money in the world.
It would probably start at
Every-
like minus 400. Then some Irish people bet on it. That's how it works out. Where do you think? Okay, Connor has an advantage in
You're right,
clipping
minus
into the box.
400 to minus 350.
Bam! What's up?
Mystic Tunes.
It's the Irish. They always-
Bovada actually dropped him as a minus 225 favorite, and then he got bet down to minus 310. That's
If
Boda.
I saw that, I would have put all my fucking money.
Yeah,
Well,
fucking
the fight's not gonna
$100
happen.
limit, $50 limit in on those things anyway.
Oh, okay. The fight's not gonna happen. But
Probably not. No. Even Usman and Masvidal minus 260 Usman plus 200 Masvidal. Take all the money on that too. So next week I won't be here, so we'll probably have to do our show on the Tuesday or the Wednesday. So it's going to be a later show. I'm not even going to watch 250 until Tuesday or Wednesday because I'm gone. Wedding on Saturday, and then me and my girl are
Cottage.
gone cottage from Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Come back Tuesday. And I don't think I'm even going to have a connection or anything up there. So if anything, I'm going to need you to have the fights ready for me, if you know what I mean. So I can just come back and fucking watch them. Literally on the way back from the cottage, I'm going to swing by your place, give me a fucking USB stick with the fights. And so I just completely ignore all spoilers. I don't want any spoilers because
how I
outside
do
of the
in the
main
morning.
event, this is a pretty fun card. Outside of the main event. Like we know, like I'm not the biggest fan
This
of
is next
Nunes and
week?
Spencer.
Okay.
Yeah. But a Sensal versus Garbrandt co-main event, which is kind of a spin in the face in my opinion because Sterling and Sandhagen should probably be co-main event based on the stakes.
whoa, wait, hold
Yeah.
up! I just noticed that.
Yeah.
That is bullshit.
I'm not 100% sure if this is the actual fight lineup,
hell no.
but usually when Wikipedia has it like lined up like this is
A
normally how it
Sunsao
is.
Garbrandt co-mating over
Yeah.
Sterling Sandhagen is ridiculous. Anyways.
Magny versus
that's a fun
Tony
fight.
Martin.
I like that
That's a
fight.
fun fight. Eddie Wineland against Sean O'Malley. That's a good step
I
up
love
for
that.
O'Malley. That's a good step up.
O'Malley
like
looked
what they're doing with
amazing.
Cyril Gahn. Like just slowly, just continue.
I
to
wouldn't
build
even
him
say
up.
that's that slow. Cyril Gahn's way slower. Wineland's a name, man.
Well,
He's middle of the pack, but he's a
Gahn
name.
is about to fight Shamil Abdurakhimov.
But this is like O'Malley's third fight, and it's only his second after an injury layoff. Gahn's
He's been
like,
off for a while. Well, he had that CBD shit or marijuana shit, right? That
Yeah,
had-
exactly.
So Sukumtat.
There's only one fight back.
yeah,
Yeah,
fuck. That's right.
So it's a little faster with O'Malley. But the way he looked against Quinones, I mean, it looked like a guy fighting another guy who was like fighting in water. Like he was so much faster. You could see everything. It looked like
such
it was
a bad mismatch.
Slow-mo for
Very
him.
bad mismatch. Caceres against Hooper should be an interesting matchup.
That's a fun fight.
Everybody loves Hooper now. You know what I mean? Everybody's on that guy's ass.
It'll be fun grappling.
Oh yeah, for sure. Heinisch against Mearshart, fun fight.
That's a fun fight too.
Stamen against Kelleher. See,
Keller getting right
off the bat. I'm like, I gotta bet on Stamen.
Yeah, 100%.
But is he gonna wrestle like Hunter Azure was supposed to?
Hunter Cody Stamen seems like definitely a more disciplined and better fighter.
He gets hit too, though. That's the only thing.
Another thing though, like even his Sterling fight, Sterling kind of barely won that. Like Stamen wasn't looking bad in that. So I think over a guy like Kelleher,
odds are out on that already.
I would think Stamen easily beats him.
What are the odds? Minus 240, Cody Stamen.
Yeah, I would think Stamen
not bad.
Him.
Charles Bird against Maki Patola should be a fun fight. Alex Perez versus Formiga on
that
the prelims. That's weird as fuck. On the early prelims. But yeah, that's a very fun fight. I love Formiga always. Perez has been looking good too. And then Menefield against Devin Clark.
Yeah, honestly, this is a really...
It's not bad.
There's not that one crazy fight, but it's just consistently pretty good.
You know what the issue is? It's the main event. Nunes against Spencer. It's hard to get people up for that fight. God. You know what I mean? If you assert fucking... any other like legit title fight up there, and people would think that this is a solid card because all around, again, great card. Like there are names sprinkled throughout it, and if they're not names, it's still going to be an entertaining fight. Like Bird against Patola is probably the most like low name level on this, but that should be a banger of a fight too. Even Menefield and Clark, those are light heavyweights that love to fucking bang. You know what I mean?
It's a solid card.
What fight on this card are you most looking forward to?
I would definitely say I'd probably go with Sterling Sandhagen. It's got the most title ramifications too.
Yeah, it has the biggest ramifications outside of...
I like that one.
Assunção Garbrandt is a good fight in terms of like seeing who should be next after those guys.
Yeah,
like,
I'm interested to see if Cody finally fucking fights properly into his potential.
Well, he's been training with Mark Henry too, right? So that's another thing that he's trying to change up.
None of that stuff is an issue. His training partners, that didn't seem to be an issue. His issue just seemed to be, hey, just keep doing you in the cage, like using your footwork and using your boxing, and don't get into a brawl. If he just doesn't get into a brawl and stand still, all three of his losses are probably wins.
I'm glad that he's like acknowledged that though. Like he started making fun of himself after that Pedro Munoz fight.
You should.
That was his last loss, right? Yeah.
That is so... Like if you look at them skill wise, it literally upsets me to see that he has a knockout loss to Pedro Munoz. He's so clearly a better fighter than Pedro Munoz. It never
Pedro just has power, and then he was able to actually stand in the pocket and land.
Even
on
the TJ Dillashaw, both fights, he just stood there throwing, and then Dillashaw's like, okay, and then clipped him.
I think those fights were more so like a mental warfare type of thing.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
Right? So that's another issue there.
Then he goes in and just uses his skill, and he dances around Dominic Cruz in like one of the best performances you've seen. Like, where's
Cruz's first like legit loss after he became like this crazy.
And you think Cody's going to hold down the division, and now he's on a 3-fight KO losing streak.
It's the Garbrandt era, bro.
Fuck, dude. Like if he just fights properly, his footwork, his speed, his hand speed is like next level.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen someone throw like boxing hooks that quick and powerful. It's ridiculous.
All right, let's end off on this. We all know about the John Jones shit going on.
Yeah,
with Dana, right? Obviously, there's two sides to the story. Jones keeps asking for his release.
Well, this specific story, there's really just one side, which is the middle, which is where the truth is.
Oh, of course.
They're both fucking...
Yeah.
Huh? We're talking about two different guys. Okay, Dana's probably the bigger liar, but then Jones has this victim complex, so then it's like you can't really take anything he says as true either. So I don't fucking know, man.
Even one of the reporters asked Dana at the press conference last night, he goes, can we just see the texts? Like,
why would I lie?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a clear deferral.
Yeah.
It probably didn't happen that way, but then Jones might... I tend to favor Jones in this because... we've seen this behavior from Dana with other fighters. So if it was just a Jones case, it's an outlier. No. Dana does this with everybody. So it's more likely that Jones is probably telling the truth. But then Jones also like, if you're going to go out there and tarnish my name, bruh, what the fuck? Ain't nobody tarnishing your name. You're the idiot. He has this victim complex where he's like, it's one of those guys where they think, all their past shit is just in the past, and now I should be starting with a clean slate. You should just forget about that and not judge me based off of that. Yeah. Like, they get upset when people bring up their past. Like, dude, you did that to yourself. What the fuck is wrong with you? Accept it.
He shouldn't have like said, okay, you're tarnishing my name by doing this shit because of already everything that I've done in the past. I'm not on Dana's side here. I'm not completely on Jones's side here either.
I'm not on.
And the one point that Dana did make in terms of I thought was so true is he could have been the LeBron of our sport.
Yeah.
He could have easily been the LeBron of our sport.
That's why you can tell with Dana, he's very like dismissive of Jones and stop giving a fuck because
it's gone.
After all his
antics, that money grab is gone.
Yeah. After all his antics, you could see Dana's like, I'm checked out. Like, I don't give a fuck what this idiot does anymore. He had the potential. He screwed up like 5 times. Yeah. I'm out. And you could tell like he doesn't give a shit. He just doesn't care about pleasing John Jones or anything like that. We went to bat for you before. We're done with it.
I'm interested to know if he's actually going to come back and fight. Because this might have really fucked with him.
Yeah, but Jones is such an idiot emotionally, too. He's one of those dudes, too. Like, he says something and you're just like, I roll, don't care. You're like, you just say shit. And he's, once again... How many times you have to make this mistake before you just learn better? You know you're an emotional idiot, and when something is fresh, you shouldn't get on Twitter and start tweeting about it. Literally, like 2 minutes after the Dana interview, he's tweeting. How about take a fucking day to relax a bit and then come out with like a thoughtful response?
Yeah.
So that your credibility isn't shot. Then you wonder why nobody fucking believes you or cares to watch you fight. With that much talent and that much skill, why aren't you the LeBron of MMA? Because of you. You fucked it all up.
He also, in my opinion, I think he could have worked back to that a little bit, even after all of his fuck ups, if his performances have been better too. Because they've had a huge drop off since, like, what was his last dominant fight? The Gustafsson fight. Number 2. Right?
Yeah.
Since then, it's just squeaked by Anthony Smith, squeaked by Thiago Santos.
He didn't squeak by Smith.
But
he didn't like look like a killer.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not the John Jones that we have come to know and love from back in the day,
not
right?
Doing anything.
And then again, possibly losing to Reyes. And I like the fact that Dana has been entertaining the Reyes fight even more and more. Because I would much rather that fight over Jan Blachowicz. I love Jan Blachowicz, and maybe he has deserved it. The guy's on a decent streak. He's taken away all the light heavyweight guys that have come up from middleweight. Who did he beat last? Corey Anderson put him out.
You can't fault Jan. He's been doing what he needs to be doing.
Exactly. He's kind of in the Leon Edwards position, right?
Sort of.
He kind of deserves it.
The problem is that Jacare fight really like... Ugh.
That was closer than it should have been.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah, that was not...
But then he goes out there and finishes fucking Corey Anderson.
Yeah, that was really good. I mean? Yeah.
So good win for him there. I just hope this shit resolves because as much as I kind of have started to dislike John Jones, I still want to see him in the cage. While he's still in his fighting years, I still want to see him in the cage.
That's why you asked me about this stuff, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I see a John Jones headline, I don't give a shit.
Unless it has to do with an actual fight.
Yeah, are you stepping in the cage to fight? I don't care what you say because literally you change what you change your mind day to day, week to week. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
This is boring now. It's like Conor. Did you see that after Khabib won, Conor I don't give a fuck, dude. He tweets after every damn fight. This happens like 10 times and then a fight's announced and none of that mattered. So I don't care. And then the
sad part is the media fucking runs with it and all the headlines you see is Conor's reaction to this. That's all it is. I hate that shit. I hate it. Make it about what the fuck actually happened, not about what Conor's comments were on it.
That's why, like, Out of the Cage now, I don't follow MMA as much as I used to. It's just like glancing over it because I'm like, it's just a bunch of people saying the same shit over and over in circles, and none of it matters until the fight. Like, who gives a fuck? It's just drama.
That's why I didn't watch.
I don't need the tough reality drama part. You know what I mean? Just give me the fights.
I remember back in the day we would watch like all the countdown shows, everything.
I would literally be trying to squeeze everything, all the embeddeds, I don't even care.
Embeddeds, I still watch if it's a big fight.
Yeah, those are better.
Nunes Spencer, I probably won't watch.
Those are better because it's just live footage, whereas the countdown's like all edited and they're trying to do the same story over and over, showing training clips. What's your motivation? I don't care.
I don't give a shit.
I don't care. Yeah. It's just,
what I miss though is the Dana White vlogs. Remember those ones?
Yeah.
Those ones were sick. Embedded's cool and all, but just follow around Dana for the week. I love those ones.
I remember when we first got, what was the first event that came back? UFC 249?
Yeah.
I was about to text you one morning, I think the morning of the Saturday. No, fight week vlog.
Dude, those words? Fuck, I think everybody misses them. Yeah, like fans that were like UFC fans from like UFC 100 days.
Yeah.
Like, yo, fight week vlog week.
Yeah, fight week vlog week. Let's go. That's every time.
I missed those. I can't find them on Twitter or YouTube anymore. I think they took them off. Yeah.
They
Like
might
all the
be
old ones.
holding on to the
Because I
contract.
was in like 2 of them when I was working with the UFC. I think I showed them to you. Like when they came for the Jones and Machida fight, you could see me in the back row with them and shit, right? I was just trying to find it to show somebody, and I couldn't find them anymore. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah,
bitches.
that's annoying.
My split second of fame.
Yeah.
All right. So no episode next week. It'll probably be late, maybe Tuesday if I can pull you out of your house to come. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll figure that out.
It works for me, man.
Yeah, go check out the Deciding Splits episode that we did for, what do we do it for? Spike Carlisle and Billy Quarantillo. And let us know what you thought about that fight. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you guys do that shit. We're getting closer to the 1,000 subscriber mark. That's where I'm trying to get to. And we can see where we're at from there. All right. Good luck on UFC 250. We'll see you guys there. And I'm going
Maybe
to
we'll
be
get
back.
a Spotify deal soon.
Yo, shut up. We're already on Spotify. But still, yeah, licensing deal. That would be fucking nice. Give me
Spotify, call us.
a tenth of what Rogan got, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, 10
I'll be
mil.
happy.
Come on, Spotify. You can make it happen.
Chip it off. Chip it off. Just chip it off. Just chip it off. All right. We'll see you guys next week. I appreciate you guys watching as always.